Am I the asshole for telling my mom what her husband said to me? My 16F mom got married a few months ago. She's been dating her husband for 3 years before that. My dad died 6 years ago. My mom and I had a talk a couple of weeks ago. She told me she noticed I'd been a bit more distant and she wanted to check in with me because I was never that way. She also mentioned how uncomfortable I look sometimes and how she hates it. She wanted me to tell her anything and said it would mean a lot to her if I could be honest, no matter what. So I was honest with her and admitted that it made me a little sad to see her with her husband. That I'm glad she's happy, and I want that for her. But I can't help feeling sad it's not Dad making her smile and thinking it should be him. I told her it's not a big deal, but it's still an adjustment for me seeing them being all couple vibes. Mom hugged me and told me she was sorry she hadn't checked in with me better on how I was doing with that. I told her it was okay and I loved her. She seemed a little upset and I reassured her the best I could, so I got another hug. A few days later my mom's husband approached me and asked me why I had to say that to Mom and whether I was trying to break them up or make Mom feel like she couldn't be affectionate with him around me. He said on top of everything I made her feel like a bad mom. Then he said I was old enough to know there are things you keep to yourself no matter what. He told me he'd tried to step in as a dad, but I clearly hadn't wanted that. So he stepped back, but for me to have an issue with him loving his wife was too much. I could see he was pissed. I sort of knew Mom wouldn't have liked that, but she asked me after noticing some tension in the air, so I told her what he said to me. My mom was so mad at him. They got into a fight. And later my mom's parents got involved and both of them and my mom's husband told me I shouldn't have told Mom what he said. That it really looked like I was trying to stir up trouble. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. I sort of knew Mom wouldn't have liked that, but she asked me after noticing some tension in the air, so I told her what he said to me. My mom was so mad at him. They got into a fight. And later my mom's parents got involved and both of them and my mom's husband told me I shouldn't have told Mom what he said. That it really looked like I was trying to stir up trouble. You answered your mom's question honestly and you weren't attacking either her or her husband. Her husband was told and had a tantrum about you being honest about your feelings, then he got your maternal grandparents involved. Your stepdad is acting in a very immature manner. Not the asshole, and now tell her what her parents are saying to you. Keep telling her everything as she seems to be the only one on your side. Not the asshole, but you need to go back to your mom and let her know what her parents and husband are saying. Keep telling her everything they say, every single time they say something. Keep showing your mother that her husband is the problem. Not the asshole, you did everything right. Your mom's husband is definitely the asshole here. I'm glad your mom is your corner. Please keep being honest with your mom. Not the asshole, you should always be able to tell your mom anything and there should never be any secrets between you and your stepdad. If he's mad because you told your mom something he said he should not have said it in the first place. Tell him, some things you keep to yourself no matter what. Lol, what a fucking tool. If I were you I would tell Mom that he is now starting to interfere with your trust in her and that is a huge problem. He shouldn't have said it if he didn't want his wife to find out. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for telling my little sister's best friend that my brother stole her college fund? I, 30M, found out my younger brother, Tom, 28M, stole $5,000 from my little sister's, 18F, best friend, Emma, 18F. Tom and Emma's families have always been close, and Emma practically grew up with us. My mom asked Tom to help Emma manage her money for college because she trusted him with it. He works in finance. Tom recently confessed to me that he borrowed $5,000 from Emma's college fund and blew it on gambling. He said he planned to replace it before anyone noticed, but he lost everything. He begged me not to tell anyone, saying he's going through a rough patch and just needs time to make it right. Emma's family doesn't have a lot of money, and she worked super hard to save for school. Knowing this, I felt sick. I didn't want to betray my brother, but Emma's future is on the line. So, I told Emma the truth. She was devastated and confronted Tom, who denied everything at first, but eventually broke down and admitted it. Now, my family's furious with me for ruining Tom's life and says I should have given him a chance to fix it. Tom won't speak to me. Am I the asshole for telling Emma? Edit. Just to clarify, my brother and I are quite close, but, due to some past events, not so close to our parents. They didn't know about my brother hobby. Not the asshole. Your parents should be concerned with your brother's gambling problem. How much of his own finances has Tom lost? I'm afraid of the hole he may have dug himself into. You may have wanted to tell your own family first, though. Not the asshole. Now, my family's furious with me for ruining Tom's life and says I should have given him a chance to fix it. Emma's future is on the line. Looking at those two statements, her interests totally trump his. He was in a position of trust and he totally breached it. He dissipated her money to gamble. You didn't ruin his life. He did that all by himself. I just hope he hasn't permanently jeopardized Emma's as well. Info. Was there a reason that he confessed to you? Was he hoping that you'd bail him out and give him the $5,000? Or was he just hoping that you'd give him reassurance that he isn't a bad person? Tom wasn't going to fix it because Tom has a gambling problem, and when gamblers lose money, they always think they can replace it by taking more and gambling it. You saved the rest of Emma's fund from being stolen, and if your family wants to support Tom in replacing the funds, they're more than welcome to use their own funds. Not the asshole. You did the right thing. Tom ruined his own life, and I hope he faces criminal charges. Not the asshole. I love how Tom essentially scammed Emma out of a significant sum of money for her, and you're the problem. Yes, that's all bad, but you being truthful with Emma? Unacceptable. Please. Am I the asshole for making my property inaccessible and cutting of a hiking trail? I live in a city with an amazing river valley trail system. I am lucky enough to have purchased a home a couple of decades ago that overlooks the river. 2 years ago, the bank below my property gave way and part of the trail became too dangerous for people to traverse. The city put up a barrier and there is a detour up into my neighborhood and then back down into the valley, maybe 1/4 mile down the way. However, my backyard can also be used to continue your walk. I got so many people walking through that I got concerned because of liability. Also, they were littering on my property. I fenced off my yard, and now if you want to walk the trail you have to take the detour. A few of my neighbors have talked to me about it, and one in particular thinks it's a dick move to keep people from enjoying the trail. I have also been yelled at in my backyard by people who used to cut through, and the city has come by to check my property lines, but I did everything right. I don't think I'm the asshole, but a few people have called me exactly that. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. The thoughts of people not wanting to walk an extra 1/4 mile while on a walking hike are up there with people who lift weights but don't want to lift them back off the equipment and put them away for the next person. It needs to be treated as part of the experience. You aren't stopping anyone from walking the trail. The trail slipped and became dangerous. It never ran through your property. Okay, so your title is misleading. You didn't cut off anything. The trail was changed because of damage. That has nothing to do with you. So you are not the asshole for fencing in your property. They can still hike the trail just fine. Not the asshole. If you haven't done this, you'd probably want to increase your homeowner's insurance and make sure the policy covered liability for having a hiking trail open to the public on your property. That might have been expensive. Plus, you'd have to be responsible for keeping that part of the trail in safe condition, and you would have to clean up the litter. Nobody should reasonably expect you to do that. If people really want to cut through your yard, they should ask the city to buy the necessary part of the land from you. Or fix the part of the trail that was destroyed. Not the asshole. Frankly, the litter and liability are good reasons not to let it keep happening. There's a detour and people can go around. Not the asshole. It's very entitled of your neighbors to think they can trespass onto private property just for their convenience. Not the asshole. The people out using the trails should be active enough that going the correct way shouldn't be a problem. If you are worried about being the bad guy, just tell them, hey, we had our home insurance company inspect our house and they noticed the trail. They said they were going to jack up our rates if we didn't put a fence up. Sometimes lying is great. Am I the asshole for calling my sibling's new partner a gold digger? My sister, my wife, my parents, and my sister's new boyfriend Mark go out for my dad's birthday. It's an upscale steakhouse and my wife and I are supposed to treat my dad. My sister and Mark are supposed to pick up my mom's side. Mom got a bottle of red wine, $140. My sister knows our parents' taste before going in on this. My sister pulls me aside asking if we could get my mom's side because they're broke and she'd pay me back. Mark had just lost his job. There was this whiskey flight my dad got that was almost $200, but then Mark decided to get the same thing after my sister said she couldn't afford mom's bill because Mark isn't working. I was silent on this but cornered Mark in the restroom about it. I found out my sister was paying for him also because MF just lost his job. I called Mark in front of the bathroom attendant a broke-ass MF gold digger and yelled at him about his bullshit. He told me he didn't take my parents to raise. Edit. Take my parents to raise means Mark wasn't paying my parents' bill. I'm pissed off. So say something when they bring out this cake for my dad and Mark helps himself to another piece of cake instead of letting my parents take the rest home. I told my family that for not taking my parents to raise, Mark seems to be a greedy asshole. I tell my parents and sister what he said. My dad asks him to leave the party and my sister was going to pay the bill. My dad took it from my sister saying real men pay the bills and my dad would go without before his wife and children went without and my sister needs to save her money and make better life choices. Mark and my sister got in a huge fight and my sister blames me for it because I couldn't keep my mouth shut about Mark. I told my sister at least she can dump the gold digger now and my sister blocked me. I actually was leaning towards you being the A, until Mark ordered a $200 whiskey flight. After that he deserves to be called out. Not the asshole. Your dad chose an extravagant whiskey flight and your mom an expensive wine when they knew their kids would be paying. Unless they knew you were both earning good money and were financially secure, that seems a bit of an asshole move. Your sister's boyfriend jumped on the bandwagon and ordered well beyond his means. That makes him an AH. Your sister trying to leverage you into covering more of the bill and keep it secret is also an asshole move. You cornering someone in the toilet and cursing them is impolite and threatening making you an AH. So, ESH. Esh. Sounds like the whole family has beer money with champagne tastes. You all need to be realistic with one another and communicate better. Not the asshole. I'm not sure that he's actually a gold digger, as your sister doesn't seem to have much gold for him to dig. He is definitely a jerk ordering something expensive neither he nor your sister could afford and certainly inconsiderate. All this did create drama which wasn't great for your dad's birthday, so it could have been handled better. Esh. What a mess. Mark sucks. I don't think your reaction is justified. Your parents having people spend $340 on alcohol seems ridiculous to me, but I am a poor. Your dad's reaction is funny considering. All around it's ridiculous to me. And I do not relate. Not the asshole. From now on his name is Goldie in your house. Keep telling your sister you love her, and that a person can't always control who they get attracted to. But it's her value and dignity she's throwing away on a man who's using her, and you know her better than that. She'll be heartbroken for a while, but she needs to get rid of the guy because he's taking up space and time she should be spending on looking for a good man.